Good morning, good morning, beautiful people. Good afternoon, good evening. No matter what time it is, just know this is the day that the Lord has made, and I will rejoice and be glad in it. As always, God is good, and He is good all the time. So let me tell you something. Before we get into this motherfucking video, I gotta play a song, okay? So be easy, be easy. Let me play this song, and we'll get into what this video gonna be about. Let go.
If it's sparks, then it's gotta be. Yeah, she tell me say that she wanna be my wife thing, cause I give her piping. Now since then she don't define me. It be like say she want to tie me. She tell me say the thing sweeter than a honey thing, cause the thing got her body shaking like a jelly bean. Now she don't define me. It be like say she want to tie me. She not my fault, say for better be like stallion. She not my fault, say for better be like stallion. She not my fault, I bring fire like a dragon. Yeah, fire like a dragon. She say she want to stay all night. She say she want Jamaican style, oh no no. She say she wanna date my side. Cause say she want to be my bride, oh no no. She say she wanna carry my child. Feel like say you want to dirty my vibe, oh no no. Me I just want chop and slide. Yeah, me I don't want anybody. But she don't mind when she hop on the BBC. She know they tired when she hop on the BBC. She talk commander but she command the BBC. She got the feeling cause she hop on the.
Kí mo ṣe tó fẹ́ rú mi pẹ̀lẹ́ o? Ṣo lè gbé tí n bá fún ẹ dọ́là o? I rush, I don't pause. Cause if I pause, it means say you won't come. No go slugger, eh? No dey slugger, baby, oh. Taste like vanilla, if you taste from the base. No be small thing, baby, oh. Dig like scavenger, oh. Shabba, I say shabba. When I give you the bam bam, bila, I'm on a danger. I'm on a danger.
But she don't mind when she hop on the BBC. She know they tired when she hop on the BBC. She talk commander but she command the BBC. She got the feeling cause she hop on the BBC.
You make me maya when I hop on the BBC. I like to fire when I hop on the BBC. Never tire when I hop on the BBC. Catchy feelings when I hop on the BBC.
She say she want to stay all night. She say she want Jamaican style, oh no no. She say she wanna date my side. Cause they say she want to be my bride, oh no no. She say she wanna carry my child. Feel like say you want to dirty my vibe, oh no no. Me I just want chop and slide. Yeah, me I don't want anybody. But she don't mind when she hop on the BBC. She know they tired when she hop on the BBC. She talk commander but she command the BBC. She got the feeling cause she hop on the BBC.
You make me maya when I hop on the BBC. I like to fire when I hop on the BBC. Never tire when I hop on the BBC. Catchy feelings when I hop on the BBC.
She want to work, she go to grab. She want a BBC, but not the one for telly. She go to grab, she go to know. She want the BBC, but not the one for telly.
Focus.
All right, beautiful people. So today's motherfucking video, someone reached out to me. Actually, I'm gonna show you who motherfucking reached out to me. But they reached out to me, let me know about Milk Whyte's motherfucking latest video, and it's talking about, I guess, like why the hooligans fell apart. And for those who know, my channel is very diverse. Basketball is something that it's like a hobby of mine. It's something that I do, like fishing, But the truth of the matter is that I don't mind rocking with niggas, you know what I'm saying? Even if you're not black, I don't mind rocking with you in spaces that is, known because of us black folk. However, where I draw the line is culture appropriating. That's why I don't really rock with a lot of the motherfreaking, like the basketball community. The basketball community is being gentrified, especially when you look at the street ball, aspect of it, especially on like social media platforms like YouTube. It's very gentrified. They find niggas like Friga who they don't look black, you know what I'm saying? But they don't look white. So they're like, niggas can't really tell what you are, so we'll take you versus people like Uncle Scoop. Uncle Scoop been in this for a minute. Yeah, Uncle Scoop just now getting his, his notoriety, his praise for his movement, as well as the guys that's attached to street stars like Terry Housley or Hosley, however you pronounce his last name. It's like several motherfucking black like basketball players out here who aren't getting their, in my opinion, their due diligence because of the circumstances. It's like every other aspect, right? It's like the music industry, country, rap, hip hop, R&B, pop, jazz, motherfucking swing, rock and roll, motherfucking, it don't matter. Classical music, like where black people are at, where we made stuff booming, niggas wants to push us out even though we are the frontier. You know what I'm saying? We are the niggas that put it on the map. It won't be what it is if it wasn't for us. But we get pushed to the back burner so these passing niggas can get in. Because Freaka, I mean, you might see some black people in some of his his older videos of his family, and you may see some black people in there. But for the most part, that nigga is he's a white boy that's from like rural Ohio. He ain't even from like place, and I'm not to make it seem like black people are synonymous, like we are a monolith. It's just at the end of the day, I can handle a nigga like Marcellus Howard over Freaka. Marcellus Howard, I do believe that this nigga goes for what he, I'm from I was about to say San Francisco. I don't even know. The nigga might not even be from San Francisco, Sacramento. You know what I'm saying? And even though that's a large city with a diverse, population, there's some black people there. At the end of the day, when you look at the motherfucking West Coast, the West Coast ain't got that many black people when you look at the East Coast. The East Coast is where black people started off at. When, black people started leaving the South and they was, I'm tired of this, I'm looking for work, post, slavery, post-segregation, post-civil rights, niggas started scattering about, and they was like, you know what, I want better, and they started moving to the West Coast. So that's how you end up with the sprinkles of black people out there, but predominantly, there ain't no black people out there. Well, I won't say there is none, but there's very little, you know what I'm saying? And so, these niggas don't have access to their black roots like that, you know what I'm saying? Their roots is the East Coast, the South. These niggas don't have that attachment. A lot of these niggas is raised up in gated communities, motherfucking affluent communities where they had resources, they had opportunities that the masses don't have because they're poor, on top of the fact that they're racial minorities. So I could tolerate a nigga like Marcellus Howard, you know what I'm saying, culture appropriating. And what I mean by culture appropriating, not necessarily appropriating black culture, but appropriating like slang, motherfucker, what they want to call hood culture. All it, like, that's not your life, nigga. You give me like private school, vibes. And there's nothing to take away from you. You still black within that. But at the end of the day, what you've been through, your life, your access is not the same as other people. You know what I'm saying? So basketball is becoming very gentrified. You got niggas like Marcellus Howard who, and I really feel like this, like they make it big, and it's like the Marine Corps, it's like the military. The niggas that move up in the world, you know what I'm saying, the ones that get to stick around are usually niggas that's sucking a lot of bands, you know what I'm saying, to the big people. And the big people ultimately are the elite folk, the wealthy, the white folk. You see what I'm saying? The niggas that's orchestrating and controlling the culture is the niggas that's behind the scenes. And it's these white folks. They the ones saying, okay, you come in. They're the gatekeepers to our culture. So I ain't with this gentrification of basketball. I don't really watch it. The only basketball I watch is like literally niggas who look identical to the niggas that I play with. You know what I'm saying? Like Uncle School, motherfucking Street Stars. That is what I like. You know what I'm saying? But I digress. We're gonna motherfucking look at this video. I just want to put the disclaimer out there. I have posted videos before dissecting the Ball is Life beef versus the hooligans, dissecting the relationship with Milk Whyte aka CrsWht, and the old hooligans, all of them. And to be honest, I'm blocked by all of them. Blocked by all of them on Instagram. Blocked by all of them. When I say all of them, I mean all the white boys and Debo. That old self-hating nigga, that nigga, I'll never forget when he's sitting here talking about, he was dragging black women, which is also on my YouTube. I'm telling you, I'm going to post all these links in the description so y'all can see it. But he was dragging black women, bigging up Latino, white, Asian women, talking about he don't date black women because they loud, they don't let him be a man, and, you know, pushing all this other racial rhetoric and blah, 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 blah. Self-hate. All my kids is light-skinned. I don't want no dark-skinned kids. And this nigga is spooky black. He's as black as my mother, you know, the black in my mother freaking sweater. Nigga darker than me, but he don't like black. That's crazy. It's crazy. Self-hate is real. But all the links to, you know, my take on, you know, dissecting what was going on at the time, I'm including this in the description. The links is there. You can watch it at your own mother freaking recognizance. However, I don't entertain, you know, this too often. Somebody reached out to me. I'm going to show you. He reached out to me. Actually, let me just show you. But the homie reached out to me, and I figured, I was like, you know what? You put forth this effort to reach out to me about this video. You know, I'll do it for you. So I told him I'll react to it because I tend to fall away from it. I am going to do some more videos on the basketball aspect, you know, like just watching and reacting with y'all. But I had to do this for you because it was brought to my attention, and I thought, like, oh, if niggas want to be out here lying, you know, I could just resurface my motherfucking video again. So it is what it is. But let's get into this.
I need to tell y'all the truth about what really happened to the whole and today I am inside. I keep on seeing all these things across the internet, you know, with some of my old teammates. I just see some narratives, and I see so many narratives and people saying things that are just simply not true. And before I can move forward, y'all, I just feel like I need to address this. I need to tell y'all the truth about what really happened to the whole hooligans. A lot of y'all who be tuned in to me, first of all, shout out all my W hooligans, man. Some of y'all know some of the details of what really went on, the reason why the old members are not around me anymore. A lot of people painted this narrative as if like, oh, Chris did this, Chris did that. And I just want to get this straight for y'all so y'all can understand moving forward into the content I'm gonna be coming with. First and foremost, I'm gonna start with number 5. He's the easiest, JJ, easiest to speak about. JJ Moore, originally when he came onto my team, he was somebody I had met through Tommy. We played video games. We had played Call of Duty together. Legend has it, they're still doing that. We had played Call of Duty and everything was all good. And me and JJ were cool. Met him a couple times, it was all love. And then, you know, he ended up in a spot where he had to choose, you know, kind of go back to the G League or stay around his family and play with me. Pause. Basically, he chose to stay with me. You know, in the beginning of all this, there was tons and tons of, there's a lot of money going around, a lot of money to be split. So originally, the agreement had split, was to split the money with everybody. As things kind of died down towards, you know, like December, he had got another offer to go back to play in the G League because he was a G League player for the Westchester Knicks previously. So then he got a phone call to go over there and play with them, and they offered him a little bit more money, and he accepted it because obviously I couldn't really keep up with a G League salary. So he left and he went to go try out for them. It turns out Buddy had a torn ACL the whole time he was playing with us, so he had a torn ACL for the longest. And when he went to go to the tryout, you know, that he ended up in a situation with them where he had to do recovery. So big shout out to JJ. Besides that, man, I hope everything goes well. I hope that heals. I hope you're able to get back to your career. We all know you're a highly talented basketball player. So that's what happened with JJ. Moving on next into the situation that happened with Tommy. Tommy Handles is essentially a guy I met through a friend of mine, 2015 or so, 16. Basically, Tommy was, you know, came in as a friend, and also he spoke to me about things he could do with SEO and shit like that with my music at the time, because I was still doing music. So the music ended up, you know, he ended up telling me he could do a bunch of things that, and then like I tried it, and he just never really did anything kept him as a friend because he was just a cool guy. I realized that, maybe the business might not have worked out, but yeah, I thought he was a cool guy, so we stayed friends. Moving into all of this, Tommy, kind of made it clear, like, when I started the hooligans, I don't want anything from you, Chris. I don't want any money. I'll even pay for my trip. Actually, Tommy kicked up money for the rental we had for the first month we went to New York because, I came into YouTube having my own money, but I've never been the type of person to, like, to do things blindly. So I didn't know what was going to happen with this YouTube.
To do things blindly, so you sit here and talk about you own your house. Do you know that owning a house is an investment? What is an investment? It's putting money in something, not knowing what the outcome could, turn out to be. The outcome could be positive, where you motherfreaking bring in profit, or the outcome could be negative, where you lose motherfreaking money. You know what I'm saying? So it's your idea to come up with this hooligan gang, and then you pushing out all this content, sitting here talking about, I'm creating my team, I'm creating my team, I'm creating my team. And then the whole time, you're not even investing in something that you put together. You got other niggas investing. Like, that's crazy. I wouldn't dare get in on no business investment with a nigga that ain't trying to put up their own cheddar. That's red flag number one. Red flag numero uno.
Stuff. I didn't know what was going to happen with my own team. So I just kind of like put the bare minimum into it until I really seen what it was going to do. So then from there, Tommy played with me or whatever. As y'all can see, Tommy's, he's a decent basketball player. And I just kind of noticed towards the end of everything, he was playing both sides, kind of like being friends with everybody. The dudes over at State Ballin', I had the manager of, which is actually MK's manager. I had given him my login information for my big cartel account with my merchandise that I had at the time. That ended up getting hacked, but only one other person had the password, and that was MK's manager. So I wasn't quite sure what was going on. I didn't take it that the manager did anything like this, but moving forward, as I found out that him and Tommy were talking.
Red flag number two. Now, go back and look at these videos that I included in the description, y'all. Y'all remember when this nigga was sitting here talking about his merch, and then he was pushing it, people were buying it, and then out of nowhere, all this stuff started coming up because he stopped talking about the merch. He stopped talking about it, right? Then you have all these people coming out, sitting here talking about CrsWht is scamming people. He motherfreaking hiring videographers to record for him, not paying them, hiring graphic designers to put together the logos and stuff for his merch, not paying them, then telling them that, oh, well, this didn't sell. So he made it seem as if that him paying them was based on it selling. The truth of the matter is that people put in action, they put in effort, work for your motherfreaking merch. So regardless if the junk sell or not, if the agreement was to pay them niggas for their motherfreaking work, they should have been paid. But you got ample amount of people out here sitting here talking about CrsWht is scamming. Check the link. I even have a CrsWht is scamming link where I motherfreaking dissect this junk. I spent some time in this. Look at it. Look at it. But this nigga was out here scamming. Now all of a sudden, MK's manager gets access to his cartel, account that is tending to his motherfreaking, merch. And then the consumer fraud is a thing. Like literally, this nigga could get hemmed up for his work because of the fact that he's committing fraud across state lines. So this could easily become a federal case, right? You bypass local municipalities, state, city, county, and you just go straight to motherfucking Fed because this nigga he's committing consumer fraud across state boundaries. Several people in his lives will be in the comments saying, yo, where's my merch? And nigga will just ignore them. Ignore them. So the truth of the matter is like, is it ethical to just ignore these people who were saying, hey, I want my money back? He even said he'd give people their money back. And the only people that had got their money back, to my knowledge, the only person I know who claimed they got their money back is that logo nigga that used to suck his meat until he pulled it out out his mouth and not allowing him to no more. Now they beefing. But that's the only dude that I heard of that got paid for merch that he paid or got his money back, right? If you're trying to build a legitimate like consumer base or community, wouldn't it make more sense to keep good with them people, pay them, either give them their merch or mother freaking, give them their money back? It's still people to this day talk about they haven't received their money back. Like the scamming thing that he's done is real. And for so long, he avoided even just like talking about the scammer side, except calling people liars and saying they're trolling him and they're slandering him, calling him a mother freaking scammer. But literally the proof is out there. Like, I'm not a stickler on proof because I know that it's not always possible to provide, evidence. However, in this case, there's ample amount of evidence out there showing that this nigga is scamming. Still scamming. Now all of a sudden, MK's manager has something to do. I don't deny that his manager has something to do with it, but why is it just now coming out? It's been like over a year. It's weird.
Basically, people I wasn't messing with, Tommy was really being friends with. A lot of people run into this narrative like, oh, well, yeah, if you mess with Chris, you can't mess with him. He doesn't mess with him. It has nothing to do with it. If I'm friends with somebody and I'm like really, I rock with somebody, I'm not going to be friends with people who are trying to defamate his character and his name or his brand. I would never do that. That's like me being friends with Cash and the people are trying to defamate Cash's friend and Cash's character and brand, and I'm over here hanging out with these guys like these guys are my friends. I would never do that. That's just not my character. Towards the end, Tommy, I found out that he had basically asked that company to manage him and stuff like that. And I was just like, all right, do your thing, enjoy. So that's the reason why Tommy ended up not being on the team.
Still makes me wonder, why would you give MK's manager access to your merch account? Is he your manager? Like, do you just give out randoms? I'm not gonna just go give, some nigga that I don't like's manager access to my YouTube. Who the freak are you? That's weird. You should expound on that a little bit more.
Nothing too deep. He just basically said he wanted to do his own thing. He wanted to sign up for management with these guys, and I was like, all right, do your thing, man. Good luck. So that's how that ended up happening. Then we're gonna get into Debo. Debo basically, at the time, I had a lady, and he, make it very plain and simple. He slid in my girl's DMs. He tried to holler at Shorty.
She must have been a white lady, because Debo don't deal with black girls. I don't think there's too many black women that'll date motherfucking CrsWht. Gotta be a white lady. Gotta be a white lady.
After he was supposed to be my friend, we met each other because we were about to fight. It's been cool ever since. I never, ever did anything but try to help this dude. This dude was basically a guy who we didn't need on the team. I paid for his flight, his food, his gas. When he was in LA, and gave him $500 to come coach the friggin' game.
Debo always gave me moocher vibes. Like, the nigga that just... Because if you watch those videos, Debo didn't contribute to jack squat. He was just... He like that extra pair of sneakers you bring just in case. You know what I'm saying? The extra pairs of sneakers you bring just in case. Because it's like, I'm going to need some stylish shoes when I go out. But I plan on playing basketball, you know what I'm saying? So I'm going to need to bring extra pair of shoes. Because I got my go out shoes. But now I need some shoes to play basketball in. Like, that's Debo. He really didn't serve no purpose except to be there. Because, any pair of shoes you could play in, just about, you know what I'm saying? But this nigga was just there to take it all in, I guess. I don't know. He's going to get into it. Let's see.
He texted me and said, oh, that's it. Now, originally, I was thinking I was going to be able to...
So he said he gave him $500 to show up to the Frigga game to coach. Debo's like, that's it? Ungrateful, nigga.
To do more, but we're gonna get into the details of the money shit in a second. But I wasn't able to do much more for a guy that really didn't do anything, got a full expense trip taken to LA and got $500 cash for nothing. I thought that was suitable. Let me know in the comments what you think about that. Giving Debo that for doing pretty much nothing. I thought that was suitable. He texted me and said, oh, that's it. And that made me feel very, very like he was really ungrateful about the situation that we have here. So I let him go. Pretty much, I asked subliminally, he knew what's up. Like after you trying to holler, like it's quiet for you. Like, that's the situation we'll address.
So he didn't even kick out Debo. He just fell off from Debo. He stopped communicating with him and got what he said quiet. Now, if y'all pay attention, man, this nigga never talks as crazy as he does with all these niggas that he interprets as soft, right? He talks, not in this video, in previous videos. That's why I say go check that description, because he was clowning Tommy, right? But he clowns Tommy, he clowns Greg, you know what I'm saying? And he's just like, JJ, we cool, you know? I'm not going to talk bad on you, even though you left me for the G League, and then you kind of playing with Tommy and Greg's new team. At least that's what I remember when they was like putting together their little group. I forget what they called themselves, something about brothers. But he ain't saying nothing bad on there. He didn't say he kicked out Debo, because he didn't. He just fell off with Debo. And it goes to show, like, this nigga knows who he can bully and who he feels he cannot. Now, I'm not saying that Debo is a force to be reckoned with, because at the end of the day, the only force to be reckoned with is Jesus himself. The Bible says, fear no man, okay? Fear God, that's it. So me personally, there's not a breathing soul, you know, on this motherfucking earth that I fear, if it ain't Jesus, you know what I'm saying? However, in regards to this guy, he pick and choose who he could bully. He's like MK. They don't come for the niggas that they think that might, because Debo, he seemed kind of sleazy, where he may not, like, fight you up front, you know what I'm saying? But he seems sleazy, like, catch you while you slipping, you know what I'm saying? Like, he seems sleazy. But at the end of the day, like, life is life. You come across raggedy people, you come across okay people. At the end of the day, like the Bible says, ain't none good but the Father. Shoot, don't even put all your eggs in my basket, homie, because I am not the friend that you think you need. What a friend we have in Jesus, man. Humans are fallible. Humans are fallible. That's why I tend to just flock by myself. I rock by myself, you know what I'm saying? It's just me, Jesus, and Jesus. You know what I'm saying? That's how I keep it, because at the end of the day, I know I'm jacked up. I'm full of flaws. Humans are just as jacked up as me. I ain't got time to deal with it.
Apparently we got, an elephant in the room. Very small elephant, toddler size, but, an elephant. Everybody keeps on asking me what happened in the situation with 45. I want to be very clear to y'all. Everybody thinks that he left the team. And I want to be very clear to y'all that he did not leave the team. He got kicked off of the team. Okay? And the real truth about what happened was this. When Greg came and he was a part of my team, he basically was a nobody guy who had 400 followers. The West Coast squad had played against them. I guess he had beat them or whatever. And nobody was interested in picking this guy up and trying to get him part of all this. Me, I saw potential in the situation with, the Swift handles. I brought him on. Originally, I had...
Ball is life. Caught wind of Greg before Milk Whyte, as well as Frigga, which you can see in my Ball is Life and Hooligans beef analysis in the that link is in that description, man.
Put up some money into an Airbnb. It was like 5 bands and plus Airbnb to get the New York trip started, plus the money towards the car that me and Tommy chipped in. Like everybody kind of put in. Greg had put up like a band. He put up the money to pay for the part of the Airbnb to go be there, because I told him, like, if you want to build your brand, I'm here to help you build your brand. Which in the the end, it's exactly what I did. But let's get to the facts, okay? Greg pulled up. We played at first. Originally, there was a large amount of money being made from a large viewership from you guys. Big shout out to all you real hooligans who tuned in then and still tuned in now. Goated. However, it basically turned into a situation where the money was up, and I agreed and said, hey, you know, I'm going to give everybody a piece of the money, percentage, and then the money kind of went down. And when the money went down, and I was still expending trips to get people to come outside, paying for Greg, sending Greg money here and there, food, paying for his flights, his food, his gas, his car, and everything. Just kind of taking care of everything to make sure he was still here to be in the videos with you guys. Because, you know, it was under my impression that he wanted to build his brand. Me and him sat down, came up with the Ranger idea, which is how 45 came about. I even gave him ideas to do, you know, country style videos that he could do while he was home. I rebuilt the channel. The videos that he got were basically filmed and on the expenses of me. I paid for the flights and the food and the trips and everything to pop out to get those first initial videos that got his channel monetized. I pretty much did everything I could to help this guy. It was always, oh, you're my brother, I love you, you're my brother, like, you were super, super tight, And then, basically, in the situation, it came about, you know, towards the end of December, where I kind of made it, you know, I was doing things here and there to, you know, to help and do what I can with money and stuff like this. But then it got to a situation where I was like, listen, man, you know, the money is not that much for me to be giving you a percentage like this. I'd be basically hustling backwards. So, you know, if it costs 2-3 bands for a trip for the team to pop out somewhere, 5 bands to pop out somewhere, I make back 1,500, you know, whatever, and I make back a couple bands on each video, let's say. That's if the numbers go crazy. You know, then it makes sense, but then it's like when I'm barely making bread back, but how I can't give you a percentage if I'm not making the bread back. Essentially, my trip to New York ended up costing about 18 bands. So a lot of the money that I made, that I spent, I just made back. And I was okay with that because my purpose was to build the brand and continue to put back into it to keep getting people, getting the team up. And then that's when I wanted to get some more notoriety for the team. So I was like, you know what? Let me show everybody that we're the best team. So I wanted to set up the games to show everybody who the best is. Because I had a lot of confidence in us as a team, as playing together. We have faced some formidable opponents and throughout New York. Shout out, you know, Wingate. We weren't able to come out of there with wins. You know, we didn't really have a good day, but we played. I felt confident in us playing against Frigga's team. So we set up the Frigga game. Now, mind you, all this time had passed. I'd spent all this money, thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars on trips and, you know, taking care of flights and hotels and Ubers and food for everybody and gas for everybody and just constantly giving and giving and giving to the point where I guess everybody felt like it was like, oh yeah, Chris has got to give me this. And essentially, when there's thousands and thousands of dollars being made, I wouldn't mind spending thousands and thousands of dollars. But as like, you know, viewers got casual to, you know, 100, 200,000, like it didn't make sense for me to be doing all this. So I wanted to get the notoriety up. We set the Frigga game up, and then from there, everything was going smooth. So going into the Frigga game, 2 days before, mind you, this is my brother, I love you, but it had been some time since I was, you know, kind of forking out money. You know, I couldn't really keep doing this, and giving money for food here and there, and 200 here, and 50 here, and 300 here, and then $500 flights, Uber's $100, he pukes in the back of my Uber, that's another $100 here, $100 there, he did it twice. Well, like, literally burnt my Uber account, but whatever, that doesn't matter. Point is just a lot of things was going on, and I was spending a lot of money on this guy, trying to help him, take care of him, bring him out, bring him into content, you know, make sure he was in front of you guys. From there, 2 days before the Frigga game, this person jumps on live with my old teammate, the kid Carlos. Now, I had been ignoring Carlos for the longest because he just was saying so much garbage and just talking so much shit that we know he's not backing up. And I was like, I'm good. Left it alone. He jumps on lives with Carlos 2 days before. Now, this is my brother, mind you. Somebody who tells me, oh, I love you. Okay, I appreciate you so much for everything you've done for me. And basically says, listen, well, I don't know why they involve us in their problems. You know, We don't have nothing to do with those problems, you know what I mean? Chris's problems aren't mine. I'm cool with Nick. Everything's fine. Even if you felt like that, like, okay, that's cool. But one, how are you my brother and you feel like that? Two, why the fuck would you jump on live and say that publicly? And it almost felt like he was mad that I wasn't feeding him anymore, penny feeding him. I did everything I could for a while, and at first the agreement was supposed to be, percentage. But then I showed the analytics, I showed the screenshots of what's going on and what money's being made. And I said, bro, I just can't do it. It doesn't make sense for me. Like, look, this is what's going out. This is what's coming in right now. Like, we just gotta hustle and keep building this. I mean, I'll take care of the trips and do everything I can. But here, in the meantime, flew him out to Florida. Y'all got the 4v4 video that's on his channel. I basically, did what I can to try to keep him afloat and make him his own creator so he can go make videos and create his own wave as well. And we can do this together. Because he was my brother. So, after he does that, I find out what happened. I make it clear. I called. Yo, you're not on the team anymore. You're done. It's over. It's quiet. I can't fuck with you. As a final gesture, what I'll do is I will fly you to Vegas and pay for your Big 3 thing. Because all this had happened also right after he found out he was trying out for the Big 3. So maybe he thought like, oh, I'm in the Big 3 now, like it doesn't matter, I don't need Chris. Alright, cool. I said, I'll pay for your Big 3 trip, it is what it is. So then he starts sending me voice notes and like, mind you, I have all the screenshots. I can show them if we need to. I just don't think that it's really necessary. It's pretty obvious at this point. Everything that I say you can verify by just seeing what the actions were after. But anyway, from there, he tells me, I can't pay my bills. If I can't pay my bills, then, there is no Vegas trip, and I can't even try for the Big 3. So against my better judgment, because my better judgment said, nah, I don't give a fuck. You just stab me in the back, leave him to dry. I spoke to somebody, and they were like, shit, just, let him have these last couple games. It is what it is. So I did. So we go to the friggin' game, and y'all saw what happened. Dude basically chucking up air balls, getting scored on. Fucking insert clip from the friggin' game right here. Originally, when I first did the game, the bag was only after the production costs, it was only supposed to be like 15 bands. Because we had to pay a lot for the production of the situation over there. After I found out that the production costs were smaller, Dev looked out, they gave me an extra 10 bands. I told the team, like, yeah, listen, this is what it is. Like, matter of fact, everybody's gonna get 1,500, except for the person who literally just stabbed me in the back and wasn't supposed to be here and get any checks at all. So I ended up writing 6 players $1,500 plus a band, which was $10,000 plus the $8,000 it cost to be there, and I saw 25. So I made 7 racks. I get that in a brand deal. Like, I only did that game was just to put people on the team on, so they can get shine. Like, I would have gotten it in a brand deal. Straight up, whatever. And to make that clear, that's from my managers. So, I'm not entitled to give out pieces of my brand deal money from my managers. Because that's what I got going on with my management team. That has nothing to do with my revenue that I make from the videos. The percentages that I agreed upon was from the revenue from the videos because that's what's fair. Money that the team makes me from brand deals, nobody else is entitled to. Because that's us putting the work in and them putting the work in and their connections. Just in case I have somebody in the comments going, well, you're getting brand deal, man, you give me a piece of that too. What the fuck? What do you want me to give a piece of my soul too? Like, we're working hard to build something here. Mind you, we were doing numbers that people have taken 7, 8 years to do when we first got here. So I know why the hatred comes.
I mean, I can understand why people would say that the brand deal should be included with his team when the brand deals are attached to the videos that he said that he would give the revenue from the videos to his team. It's like, what are you branding? The brand deals are attached to the videos that you have these players on that you said the revenue from the videos will go to them. That includes the brand deals. Because at the time before he started this Milk White Live, The only thing he had was his actual channel where he was posting the content of the hooligan players, the original ones. Dude just be all over the place because at the end of the day, he don't want to pay nobody nothing. Get it? It's just you want to do bad business practices.
I know what the hatred's all about. Anyway, so I cut him $1,000. He doesn't really say anything to me about it. Apparently, I guess Frigga's players had gotten paid more. Frigga is a person that doesn't need money. Frigga has been making money for years. The reason why Frigga's team got paid more money, okay, is because their budget was bigger. Frigga can take his $25,000 or whatever money he made. I don't know exactly how much he made from the situation after losing. That's not my business. But Frigga can take his money and get...
You see how after losing, I thought that the whole $50,000 go to the winner. According to CrsWht, they only got 25. So he's assuming that the other 25 must have went to Frigga and then they split it for losing. Which to me, I mean, it doesn't seem fair in the sense that it's like, how did they get paid the same amount that I got paid when we lost versus them losing? But at the end of the day, it's like that parable given in the Bible, right? Where Jesus told them about the man who owned his vineyard, and he goes out and hire out all these workers to work his vineyard. And he started, as early where he seen one person, he's like, hey, what are you doing? Nothing. You want to work for me? I'll pay you. Sure. They come, they work. And by the time it gets to the very last person that he asked to come work on his vineyard, they said, yeah, I'll work for the money. And so when it came time to pay everyone, right, he paid everyone the same amount. But here's the thing. The ones that came in last, the ones that were brought in last, got paid first. So the people who were brought in first got paid last. It's like the scripture says, the first shall be last and the last shall be first. Those who came in last on the vineyard was paid first. Those who came in first to the vineyard to work got paid last. In addition to that, everyone got paid the same amount. So those who worked 8+ hours got paid the same amount as those who worked probably like 10 minutes. And then you had people moaning and groaning. They said, how do these people get paid the same as me? And I was working here longer. I've been here, doing more work. And Jesus said in his parable, he said, basically, didn't you agree to work for money? Yeah. Were you paid that money? Yeah. So what are you complaining about? The fact that I decided to pay somebody else the same amount of money, this is my money. I can do as I please with my money. I compensated you for what I said I was going to give you. So why the freak do you care what I'm doing with somebody else? This ain't got squat to do with you. So the same thing applies here. This ain't got squat to do with you. You may have won. However, it is those people, prerogative to pay out whatever they want to pay out. They could have paid you less as the winner. That's their prerogative. You could learn from the Bible, man.
Give his team most of it because he doesn't care. He's making tons of money anyway from other shit.
This dude always pocket watching. Frigga probably don't even got money like that. He just got all these endorsements and deals. It's crazy. Just niggas be pocket watching. I'm just saying it's a possibility. He could also have money. But at the end of the day, mind your own pockets.
My bag, I just got here. My YouTube bag is much smaller than Frigga's. Let's be realistic here. So to see people talk about, oh, you got paid $700 more, bro. This dude obviously, Frigga definitely doesn't need the money, bro. Let's be realistic. And it's not that I need the money, but it's like, dude, if I spent $8,000 on getting everybody here, I'm seeing at least a double my return, dog. Plus, I did all this to put all y'all on the map anyway.
It's crazy because when he first said it, he said that he broke even. The money that he spent was about $7,000 in flights, tickets and stuff, hotels, expenses for his team, right? Then he goes and say, let's listen to it. He goes and say, now the number is $8,000 and he doubled his profit so that way he can replenish what he spent out. How you broke even and made double at the same time. It's the fact that his lies, he can't even keep up with his own lies. You know what I'm saying? This is why he in the situation that he in. But listen to it.
It's like, dude, if I spent 8,000 on getting everybody here, I'm seeing at least a double my return, dog. Plus, I did all this to put all y'all on the map anyway. Shit is crazy. Anyway, from there, obviously there's a separation. I had already scheduled and didn't really tell anybody the West Coast game. Now, originally, the West Coast game was for a certain bag, same bag as the Dev game, originally, not 25, alright? Whatever, it was the lesser one. Now that bag right there, I agreed to give everybody 1,000, 1,250, alright, 1,250 if we win. Now my whole purpose here was just to play these dudes to show everybody that we're better than them and win. I made it clear to Craig, after the freaking game, the West Coast game, you're not playing with us anymore. So just be clear. I'm gonna let you get these checks, pay your bills, whatever. You're not playing with us anymore. It's done. So he had already been kicked off the team before the games. And I have these text messages. I have all the screenshots of the whole entire conversation, including recordings of the voice notes. But, because you know, people be lying. And here we go with the, you always record a conversation. No, people be lying. And I have to
You be lying.
make sure that, since I know they lie for fake-ass narratives, I gotta make sure I keep my receipts. Straight jacket. All that fuck.
He got his iPhone watch, his iWatch bedazzled. He got it bedazzled. He got the rhinestones on the iWatch.
Ass narratives, I gotta make sure I keep my receipts. Straight jacket. All that fucking weirdo shit. People, if I didn't have receipts, y'all would be seeing fake narratives and be able to just believe shit. That's cap. Fuck that. Make sure you keep your receipts, bro. Because that's what it is with this entertainment shit. Everybody just caps and lies and tries to do fake shit in order to fucking, to steer whatever narrative they want, man. Fuck all that shit. I'm a fast forward, alright? I got to Arizona the day before Arizona, okay? There's a group chat. And in the group chat, I went ahead and saw a text message that says, hey, I need everybody's W-9s. Fill out this form. What? What do you mean, W-9s? I've done plenty business with this company, okay? Y'all know the company I'm talking about. I've done plenty business with them. In fact, I've made that business thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. I know that. I accepted it. Point is, every time they know, pay my business account directly. Here's my business. They have all my information on file. Out of nowhere, we start getting this, we had an agreement on, we always pay the players directly, and da-da-da. And I'm like, why would you want to W-9 my players to your company? They're W-9 in my company. What are you saying? Oh, you're lying in the agreement. It says you can do this, and it says I'm like, bro, like, all of a sudden this weird shit starts coming out of nowhere. Now I'm thrown off. Which is when I'm like, all right, I just won't show up. What do you mean? Then after that, we got into the whole, okay, then I got to the stage where I was like, oh, okay, I'll go, fuck it, I'm coming. Then it was, if you show up, there's gonna be cops involved, because they had already offered players more money than I offered them. So the players took the money and went to go play the game. Which hence why I wiped everybody out except for Foot, because Foot came to me and said, yo, bro, this is what's happening. They're offering me money to go play without you. So that's how I found out. Minus Jay Will, because Jay Will was kind of like just a hired hitman. I knew he was a great guard. We needed a solid guard. So I brought Jay Will in for that. And Jay Will, so he doesn't really have anything to do with kicking anybody off the team. Jay Will does his own thing, all right? Point is, what I found out was this dude, 45, was sitting there in these dudes' ears telling them that he's not going to get paid unless they get paid directly, which was cap. I had paid the players. He was just mad because he thought for some reason I'm getting, another 25,000. Mind you, I only made 7, right? So he was just trying to count my pockets, knowing that he wasn't about to be playing with me anymore, and got mad. So, put it all together. W-9, I'm not trying to take your players. Okay. Dude lies on my name. I don't even know why these dudes started acting like Captain Save-A-Ho with the players. So, it's a fucking M1 all over again. But anyway, right, no shade to M1 because it was a lit movement. But y'all saw the documentary. And then from there, now my relationship with that company's burnt. Now this is a company I made an extra couple thousand every month from. So that's money in my pocket that somebody took out. And you see, I stepped back once they started playing with the money. But you see, somebody stepped in. What happened? So you're not trying to take my players, but my players are playing with you. Oh, interesting. And, oh, dude is my brother. But my problems are his, my da-da-da-da. I did everything I can to bring this guy out. But my problems are his, and apparently I don't take care of anybody. Guess not to his liking. These guys I did everything I could to try to lift the people up around me, and the first thing they did, once they got next to me, was try to tear me down. And that's the facts. And it's crazy to me. It's crazy. Because you see what's going on here. For those of you that are really paying attention and really watch, shout out to my W hooligans, man. I love y'all. But all these other people claiming, holding on to the fake narrative, your opinion is biased to the fact that I'm a passionate, aggressive basketball player. I love basketball. I'm very passionate about it, which is why I'm aggressive about it. People be always trying to take the worst part about me. That's all they do is they show the worst part, and then whatever. Forget all the dope videos with all the lit ass content and fun ass time and showing kids love and all that shit. Fuck all that. Just only show the part where people do lame shit, and Chris stands on his 10 toes, and then all of a sudden he's a bad guy. I was raised that when people do sucker shit, you check that shit. Because you let them do it once, they gonna do it again. That's a fact. That's how I was raised. Brooklyn taught me that. Straight up. People do all this lame shit, man. Paint a narrative. Oh, fake tough guy. What you mean? If somebody tells you you pussy in your ear, you're not gonna check that? Man, stop that, man. That's your problem if you don't. Not mine. But I just want to drop this video so y'all can know the facts, man. I'm tired of people painting fake narratives, doing sucker shit, and trying to lie on my name on the internet and all this. That's all cap. Bro didn't leave. He got kicked off. My relationship got burnt, and a bag that I made every month from a company got burnt based off of somebody else's cap. So no, don't believe the lies, don't believe the bozo shit. I got all the screenshots and the receipts to show everybody all the facts. I'm just gonna put this out there. I'm gonna let this be the final time I talk about this because my new team is back and better than ever. The new hooligans I'm introducing to y'all are better. More loyal, more hungry, they want to do it, they want to grind. I love that shit.
All right, beautiful people. Now, me personally, I don't think that your location makes you who you are in the sense of like, you got to be from a non-affluent, background for me to view you as legitimate, like tough and all that. I don't believe that. However, I don't understand how this nigga always say he from Brooklyn because he raised up there from like mid to late teens and then he never even specified when he left. Like all you know is that he moved from Schenectady, which is borderline Albany. I'm gonna show y'all, but he moved from he moved from Schenectady, borderline Albany. Supposedly went to New York City, Brooklyn, stayed there a little bit, got in some trouble, and then he was in and out of the system. So he spent majority of his time. Now I'm gonna tell you, when it comes to corrections, there are not that many correction facilities that is within the city. If anything, it might be a jail, okay? But when it comes to like sentencing, prisons, they're usually in rural spaces, right? In New York, we don't have no prisons near none of the cities. If you get arrested in New York City, if you get arrested in motherfucking Rochester, New York, if you get arrested in Buffalo or Syracuse, they taking you to places like Utica. They taking you to Utica prison. They taking you to motherfucking Auburn's correctional facility, which is literally so far from the city, you know what I'm saying, to the point where majority of the population is white. The only racial population is those sitting in those motherfucking correctional facilities. You see what I'm saying? So let me show y'all where this nigga is from. And we gonna end it there. Because He's not from no motherfucking Brooklyn. Because if that nigga's from Brooklyn, then I'm from Okinawa, Japan. Because I motherfucking went into the military at 17 years old, turned 18 in boot camp. I turned 18 in boot camp in Paris Island. What is that? North Carolina? One of the Carolinas. I think it's North Carolina. Paris Island. Then I went to motherfucking Missouri, did my little training for motor transportation for my job, my MOS, and went to Missouri, been in Missouri for a couple of months. And then after that, you know, not even taking into consideration that I spent time in, what is it? Another one of the Carolinas for MCT training, Marine Combat training. Then I went to motherfucking my MOS training in Missouri. Then I went to Okinawa, Japan and spent 2 years in Okinawa, Japan from 18 to 20. Then after that, I spent time in California because I was stationed in motherfucking Camp Pendleton. So that's like me saying, because I spent 17 to like 19 out of where I currently live, which is Rochester, New York, where I grew up and raised majority of my life. That's like saying, forget Rochester and majority of my life being raised here. I'm from freaking California, San Diego, since Camp Pendleton is so close to basically Oceanside. I'm from Oceanside, California, because I spent almost 2 years there. Or maybe I'm from Okinawa, Japan, because I spent 2 years there, 18 to 20. Or maybe I'm a blend of Paris Island, you know, the Carolinas, and motherfucking Missouri, because I spent some months there from 18 to like, no, nigga. No, you from motherfucking Schenectady. Let me show y'all Schenectady, right? Let me show y'all. Look at this. This little circle right here is Schenectady. Look at that. You see it? Schenectady. Now we zoom out. This is still Schenectady. We zoom out. Oh my goodness, look at that. Albany. Look at that. Schenectady, Albany. Let's see how far motherfucking Schenectady is from Albany. I'm telling y'all, niggas, it's like 20 minutes. Look at this. 27 minutes. This is basically the distance from Rochester, New York to where I used to live out in like Avon, New York, Livingston County. Avon, New York has 7,000 people living there, and majority of them are white. And I lived there for like 2 years. There was nothing black about that, okay? Not even a few black faces that I seen there. This is Schenectady, right? Now let's look at this compared to Brooklyn. Let's see how far he is. Over 6 hours. Damn. Well, that makes sense because this is where I'm at. Whoop, right here. I'm 6 hours away. Rochester. This is me. This is me. Rochester. So, okay, I was wrong about the 6 hours, but 3 hours. You see that? I mean, this nigga is, he probably closer to Connecticut. Let's see. Nigga probably closer to Connecticut than he is Brooklyn. Look at that, 2 hours and 16 minutes. To Brooklyn, excuse me, it's 3 hours. 2 hours and 60 minutes. Nigga is closer to Connecticut than he is motherfucking New York City. I'm 6 hours away. I'm damn near close to I'm like an hour and some change away from Toronto, Canada. 3 hours and 30 minutes. Now, I want to show y'all its census. Let's look at this motherfucking census, okay? Schenectady. Census. Because niggas be trying to act like they so motherfucking black. Now, look at this. This is from 2016 to 2020. 24,000 people living there. 24,000. Now, when this nigga was a child, this population was smaller, okay? Smaller. Let's look at this, shall we? Whenever it wants to fix itself, let's see. All topics, we looking at population, race, yes. White alone, 56.5. Currently, the black population is 19.9. Natives, barely 1%. Asian, 6%. Hispanic, Latino, 11. White, not Hispanic, 52. Now, these are basically the same. The white alone and white alone, right? White alone, they just like, oh, your skin is white. Let's, everybody who identifies white, put your thing down. Now, if you a pale, motherfucking Latino, Asian, you see what I'm saying? This, some of y'all is in here. Now, white alone, or excuse me, yeah, all of y'all are in here. Just white skin, right? But when you look at white alone, no Hispanic or Latino, it's 52%. White people still make over half of the population. Now, this is, look at this, 2021. Now, let's look at what this looked like. And this nigga is about 34 years old. So we'll say when he was growing up was the 90s. So we'll look at Schenectady census, in the 90s. You already know what I was looking for. Let's see, let's see. This thing is like jacked up. So in 2003, this is what it's looking like. This number should be way over here. But yeah, look. So in 2003, it was about 61,000 people. Now let's look at race. White persons. Wow. In Schenectady, it was 76.8% white in 2003 compared to the entire state of New York, which is 67.9. Black or African? Okay, it's been roughly about the same, because I think we've seen this number increase maybe about 5% at most compared to the entire state, 15.9. This is crazy. Asians. Now, you also have to take into consideration that people tend to live where they feel like they fit in, right? So even though, like Rochester, we can look at Rochester, because I can make more sense of this looking at Rochester, right? I can show you my hometown. So currently, there's about 210,000 people that live in Rochester, right? And of that, 45.4% is white. Black is 39. You see how close they are? And then Asian or Native Americans, less than 1%. Asians, 3. 2 or more races, 6%. Latino, Hispanic, 19.4. Now this is growing. It's growing for sure. But the thing of the matter is that most people, when they look at this, they be like, oh, that's a very diverse city. However, just like the rest of the United States, is very segregated, just like Schenectady, right? Even though you have these black people that live there, these racial minorities that live there, they don't always live in the same spaces as everyone else, right? You can literally look at Rochester, New York's like money, right? See, because we got all this fancy data for our thing, is pretty cool. I don't know how to use this for other people's stuff, because everybody don't have the same resources that Rochester has, right? But you can literally look at people's like pay in here, right? Click to activate map. Okay, so look at this map. If I could mother freaking get it to not look so crazy. But this is considered all of Rochester, right? This is our suburb, Greece, Spencerport, Irondequoit. Ooh, we zoomed out a little too much. Irondequoit, Brighton, Henrietta, you know what I'm saying? Then when you get further out, here goes our rural places, Webster, you know what I'm saying? These are all of our outskirts, but this is the city. Now, when you zoom in on this motherfucking city, right? I could tell just by looking at Otis, this is the west side. Emerson, this is the west side. This is where I live, near where I live. Because this is, yep, Dewey Avenue. This is where I motherfucking live. So you can literally click these like little spaces and see what it's looking like. The median income for these different neighborhoods, right? Now you have to take in consideration that it's a mix of places. So the way that majority of this nation is set up, but Rochester, right? It's very diverse. The black and white population is almost close, right? It was way more white people living here, way beyond. White people started leaving the city and it's becoming more racially diverse. However, when you think about it, some of these very impoverished locations like Otis, you know what I'm saying? When you like zoom in on over here, like it's a lot of poverty over here. But the thing that messes it up is where people think like, oh, the number is high. No, because what messes it up is the fact that you have to take into consideration there's pockets where I live on Dewey Avenue close to McGee. Where I live, there is pockets of wealth, right? The street that I live on, there's a bunch of retired doctors, judges, lawyers, a bunch of old people that retired. They got a little something. And majority of the people that live on my street own their home. But when you make your way to Dewey and you go to the surrounding streets, the McGee's, the Electric Avenue, the Ridgeway, in the opposite direction, Drive-In Park and Lexington and towards Emerson. When you look at those places, it gets crazy because at the end of the day, it's so poor there. But then you have these little tiny, like my street, these random streets that has people of affluent backgrounds. So my area, median income will seem as high as like $40,000, $50,000 because we got people over here that lives on my street who makes as high as like hundreds of thousands, like six-figure income. But then, so it pulls the number up, but the majority of the people that live around us are poor, making less than $30,000 a year. We even have like zip codes that makes like $10,000 a year. It's basically like welfare, you know what I'm saying? So when people try to mix stuff up, you got to take into consideration, niggas want you to look on the outside surface. Like when you see this number, it says 42, you think like, oh, this area is it's okay. It's okay. No, we have an outlier living here. There's probably somebody who's making six figures pulling this number so far up. You know what I'm saying? It's like Chicago, right? Chicago's median income is probably like about $50,000 because you got niggas like Michael Jordan who owns property there, who's considered a resident there. With this nigga being an outlier, making as much money as he makes, he pulls that motherfucking median income up. Even though everybody else around him, the majority, the over 90% around him are broke, poor, you know what I'm saying? He makes that income look higher. And it's crazy because even with these billionaires, these millionaires and billionaires, they don't even have the means to pull the motherfucking median income over $50,000. It don't matter where the freak you live. There is just about no place that has a median income of $50,000 where there is like heavy poverty. So with that being said, be careful. Niggas just be out here talking any old thing because they want to motherfucking persuade you anything. Use your brain. Do some critical thinking. Okay? Niggas just be out here lying to you. everything is not what it seems. Even data is flawed. The data that I presented you is flawed because it's missing out so much information. There's stuff that's not reported, okay, which is a flaw. It's easy enough to use as a stepstone, but that's about it. So I hope y'all motherfucker learn something from this. I don't know. At the very least, is entertained. So I'll leave you with this. Watch as well as pray. Seek ye first the kingdom of God, and everything else will be added unto you. Peace. If you want people to think otherwise of you more positively, then give them more positive experiences.